Hey guys, Dan Howland back with another Eternal Evolution video. Today we're going to be talking about prototypes. Probably my number one most requested video is a prototype tier list. So today I'm going to take my very first stab at a tier list. Now, a couple disclaimers, it is my opinion. It is a tier list after all. And it will kind of change over time, right? So this is just kind of currently what I am using the most, which ones I would be prioritizing personally on, any account I'm on, which ones I'm going to be leveling up. Let me first just start with very simple basics on prototypes. So you've got divine prototypes. You have three different types: Dominator, Tenacity, and Enlightenment. Dominator is basically for damage dealers. Tenacity is basically for tanks and vanguards. And Enlightenment is basically for support and healers, okay? So you got three different types. You can only use one of each per team. So when you're doing like Galactic Arena, you're going to have 9 of them. But normally you only need 3 of these, right? So I have a couple of the red ones now. I haven't done a lot of testing. I will say that obviously the stats are going to be much higher on a maxed out red prototype versus a yellow versus a purple versus a blue, right? So the stats just scale with the color of the prototype, okay? Now, you also have the construction blueprint, which is very important. This is basically kind of like your Great Hall in Raid Shadow Legends if you played that. These are stats that go to every single hero regardless of where you're at. Same as like the new guild content, okay? Now where you get them is you are going to get them in the Terra Dome, which you need a lot of melee heroes. I will say that it's kind of interesting in Terra Dome, the chance to get these does not go up. So if I show you the rates right here, 20% probability, if I go down to 12, it's 18, and then 13 is 20 all the way to 15, and these don't change as well. So anything past, what did I say, 13? Yeah, anything past 13 is the same, okay? Kind of weird. You think you'd get a better chance to get prototypes. You don't get a lot of them in here, and honestly, in the very beginning, I used like half of my stamina in here and half of my stamina in Decent Caves. I split my stamina in the beginning game until I got most of the prototypes, and then I only now do the 3 free every time. There is 2 prototypes that are hard to get. I will mention those as well in the video. But okay, so that's the basics of prototypes. I have a full guide video. You can search my channel if you want to find that. But let's go now into the tier list. This is what I have been putting together the last couple days here. So let me pop it open, throw it up here, and talk about it. Now, again, this is my opinion. These are the ones that I have been using mostly on these heroes. I split it out very similar to the tier list. So tank on the left going in, I have the same categories as the tier list just to make it a little bit more friendly to use. And I'll just talk about all of these quickly, kind of what they do. Yeah, okay. So let's start with the tank. The first one is Company of Heroes. This will basically is going to be good on people with high HP. I guess I don't know these all off the top of my head, so I might have to kind of go back and forth. But here's Company of Heroes. The next normal attack is going to restore 1.5% of max HP and inflict bonus damage equal to the percent of max HP. So a lot of people are using Oak as a tank, or Boar, or some of these other guys. You're going to build them high HP, so that's why this one is good, okay? That's number 1 there. Now, after that, you got Helios and Ancestral Will. And then I kind of put Ultima Ring down here. Let's go through those real quick. Helios and Ancestral Will. Helios is this one, right? Yeah, Helios is this one right here. Basically, for every nearby hero, you're going to increase your defense. I think this one's fine to use as a epic one, or they call them elites in this game. Stacks up to 40%. If you get it all the way, it's 39%. So just 39% increased defense. That means you're going to take a little bit less damage, and if you scale on defense damage, you're going to deal more damage. Okay. So that one is pretty good. Ancestral Will is the other one here that I've listed. Ancestral Will kind of just basically says the healing and shield effects cast by allied. When it says reassemble heroes, that means tanks, shall be increased by 50%. So this is going to be useful if you're using like Hercules. A lot of these are situational depending on who you're using, right? So this is good for like Hercules if you're casting shields, or if you're using Zyda, who has a lot of shields, you might want to use this one, okay? That one's that. And then the last one is Ultima Ring. I was using this one in the beginning, kind of just because I didn't have a better one, but also it just has a chance to reduce the attack of whoever's hitting you. So on like bosses and stuff, I figured this would be pretty useful. Reduces the attack by 30% for 5 seconds. It's only a 20% chance, but if you're getting hit a lot, you're going to reduce the attack of people. That one's pretty useful. Now I have kind of ignored blue prototypes in this tier list because I feel like you're only going to use them for like a week and then you'll never use them again. The stats are just so much higher. So if I look at a level 1, you see the stats is 4,400 HP. If I look at this one right here, it's 9,000. So it's like almost double, or it's probably exactly double, right? And then if I go up to, oh, I don't have another max one at level 1. Anyways, okay. That is the first tier of the tier list. That is tanks, okay? Vanguard, you're either going to be using Pain Rune, or you're going to be using Prism Amulet. Now, Prism Amulet just works on all Vanguards. It just basically says when they get a hit, they take that damage over time, so they don't get spiked really hard. This one's really good for artists. Pain Rune, basically whenever the shield expires, it's going to explode for damage and stun. So if you are using Gautier, is the commander that if you have an assassin or Vanguard or anyone that does any sort of a teleport or jump or leap, they get a shield. There's a huge combo with Gautier, Pain Rune, and Flashpoint. So honestly, those 3 are my most used. So a lot of times I'll use Pain Rune, Prism Amulet, and Flashpoint. Those are absolutely my 3 most used prototypes. I almost use them in every single team. If you're using Crete, you almost have to use Pain Rune and Flashpoint. Otherwise, he loses a lot of tankiness and damage because it's based on his HP. So when his HP is really high, he loses his shield, and it deals a percentage of his HP to everyone around him and stuns. Really, really good. Prism Amulet's hard to get. Again, red prototypes are only from Twilight, purchasing for $100, or events. So that's how you get red prototypes. This one's very important. It's probably one of the most wanted prototypes in the game. They do have it right now in Twilight as a reward. Okay, so those are those 2. Pain Rune, I'll show you real quick. This is Pain Rune right here. When an allied assassin or Vanguard loses their shield, they inflict AoE damage and stun. Mine's max level. It has a 2-second stun. It's quite good. Pain Rune is by far the highest used on my account, along with Flashpoint. Okay. All right. Now AoE DPS. I have not tested a lot of these red prototypes. You can see that I have them lower level. I have a feeling that once the level gets a little bit higher on these, we'll probably be using these a lot more often. They're hard to get. So I didn't even want to talk about on the tier list, but we're going to throw them on here just because, again, their stats are going to be the best if they're higher level than some of your other ones, right? So for AoE DPS, you have Solar Flare. It's basically if you hit 3 or more heroes, you increase the attack. If it hits 5 or more, you get increased damage and attack. Okay, pretty cool. Again, you only get 20k HP. So if you have something like this, you can see this is almost 40k, so almost double the stats. And this one's not even max level. Here you go, 43k versus 20k. So you get double the stats. But once you get a couple levels, you can see you're almost equal to a level 60. So just that goes into factor in if you're going to use this over a maxed out yellow one. You know what I mean? Okay, Solar Flare, that one's good. Now, for AoE DPS, you're either going to use Flowing Rune or Praying Eyes. Those are some of the ones I use quite often. Flowing Rune, basically when an energy hero or hunter inflicts damage to 3 or more enemies, they recover 100 energy. This is really good for like Sinsaro Marsh when you're hitting people with AoE attacks a lot. You're basically recovering energy, and they're just getting they're able to use their ultimate again sooner. Okay, so that one's pretty good. And the other one I use is Praying Eyes. This one is pretty good as well. I find myself using this one a decent amount because this one actually buffs energy, hunter, and assassin, and there's not a lot of prototypes that work on all 3. Okay, so this one basically is just going to increase the attack. When you inflict a crit with a basic attack, it increases their attack. Now, this actually can be used with Emma if you have a little bit of crit rate in her kit to give her a little bit bonus attack. But you can also use this for like Kalaza, who's considered a hunter, even though he's actually a summoner. But this one's really good for like Taylor and some other people. I use this one a lot. It works with a lot more heroes because it's, hunter, assassin, and Vanguard. Okay. That's Praying Eyes and Flowing Rune. Now, the next one is Power Word Pain. This one can definitely be used if you want when an allergy, when an allied energy or hunter hero hits 3 or more enemies at the same time, they shall gain additional 30% damage with that skill until the end of battle. Okay. Stacks up to 3 times. So this is another one that can be used if you're using AoE heroes. There's not a lot of hunters that hit more than 1 target. The 2 girls, whatever, Moriami and Pregor, I think they are the only ones that can benefit from this as a hunter class. Okay. Again, it's an epic rune, so it just kind of puts it a little bit below the other ones, just because the overall stats are going to be lower. But that's that. Now, there is 2 runes I didn't put on the list because, as far as I'm concerned, they don't exist. These are the ones there's a little bit of drama about, but basically, Vision Stone and Red Thorn, those are hard to get. The drop rate's very low. I've done hundreds and hundreds of runs. I've never even seen them. I don't have them on my account. So I put them at the bottom just because I'm saying they're very hard and they're hard to level up. Now, Vision Stone and Red Thorn, I guess I can just go through real quick. Vision Stone is like somewhere down here. Here we go. Red Thorn. So when an allied energy or hunter hero inflicts damage to the same enemy 3 times in a row, they shall permanently gain 1% attack. I think it does go up to 2% each time, up to 45% attack. So this one's really nice. If you're in a longer battle, you can definitely use this one if you have it. I don't even have a copy of that one yet, so that's why I kind of ignored it. The other one is Vision Stone as well. So if I go down a little bit, there should be a Vision Stone somewhere. Yeah, here we go. This one, basically, an allied energy hunter heroes shall inflict 12% bonus damage to enemies afflicted with debuffs. So if you're using Crete, or you're using Botmark, or you're using Artis, you'll have a debuff on the boss, and this just means they're just literally going to deal 36% more damage when it's fully leveled up. Again, I don't even have this one. I've never seen it drop. I've done hundreds of runs, so I didn't put it in the tier list. Okay, we're moving over to single target DPS. We got Fifth Element and Thorn of Glory. Thorn of Glory you get from military rank rewards. Once you get up to military rank like 10 or something, I think you get a copy of this. So this one you do get just for getting military rank. Basically, when an energy or hunter casts a single target skill that inflicts damage to the same target, they get speed. Speed increases attack speed. Increases every type of speed. It increases attack speed, it increases move speed, and it increases they call it cast speed, I think, or something like that. It's basically a cooldown reduction. You ultimate faster, okay? Attack speed is just your auto attacks. So that's what this thing does. It increases a lot of speed. Might be pretty cool later. I do have 2 copies of Fifth Element because of the event we just had. I happened to get one, so I bought the second one for $5. And this one is pretty good. If you're using attack speed heroes. So if you're using Emma in a Gluttony set, if you're using a Xena, if you're using Rez, I think this one is more important. If you're not using those things, I don't know that this one is that important because basically you just get 30 attack speed. But if the basic attack comes with additional damage, which it does on Emma and a Xena, boost the attack speed by additional 110 and attack by an additional 3% for 4 seconds. So this one's interesting. I haven't really tried this one out too much. You get both effects simultaneously, if you can see there. I have not tested that one, but I put it up here at the top because it's a red prototype, so it's gonna have a lot higher stats, and usually they're pretty damn good. So I'm sure once I get a couple more of those, that one's gonna be pretty ideal. Okay, now next, Assassin and single target. I have basically the same one here, Dark Summit or Praying Eyes. I already went over Praying Eyes. Let's go look at Dark Summit real quick. I use this one a lot as well. Let me show in here so my head's not blocking it. When an allied assassin or hunter inflicts a critical attack, they shall have a 30% chance to inflict bonus damage that is equal to 3% of their max HP and up to 360% of the user's attack. Okay, so it's pretty cool. It's not ideal on Emma because she doesn't have a lot of crit rate. But this is really good on someone like Taylor, or even like Bailey and some of the other assassins. You can use this one as well. I definitely use this one quite often. That's where, again, this tier list is kind of which ones I'm using most often. So I just want to point that out. Okay, I forgot to put the name on whatever this one is. What is this one called? Soaring Medallion. Okay, Soaring Medallion. Let me type that in here. Soaring Medal. Okay. This one is interesting for an epic one. Basically what happens is when an allied energy hunter inflicts damage to the same enemy 3 times in a row, the damage received by the enemy shall be increased by 25% for 8 seconds. Now you can see it can only be triggered every 15 seconds, so it only has like a 50% uptime. So on average, you're only getting half of that bonus, right? But this one is decent for an epic. If you don't have anything better, you're probably going to be using that. Now, again, assassin, I already went over all 3 of these. Pain rune, as I said before, if I'm using a Vanguard and an assassin, I'm almost always going to use pain rune. In my opinion, pain rune and flashpoint are the 2 most important prototypes in the entire game. Along with probably Praying Eyes and Dark Summit, okay? But these 2 I definitely use the most because I'm always using Crete and I'm always using Bailey for me personally. So I use them constantly, okay? I've already went through all 3 of these. Pain Rune works on Vanguards and Assassins, and these 2 both work for Assassins as well. Summoners, there is no summoner prototypes currently in the game. They may add them. The only current hero who's a summoner is Kalaza, who can use them because he's technically a hunter, and that's the only reason he can use it. If they re-put him into the summoner group, it'll probably be a nerf for him because right now he is the only summoner that can use prototypes, okay? Healer, again, my number 1 priority is Flashpoint, and if you don't have Flashpoint, you can also use Coronate. Coronate's a good one. Let's go over that one real quick. Coronate is in the Enlightenment, which is for supports and healers. This one, basically, the healing effect of allied support heroes shall be increased by 25%. If the HP of the healed unit is lower than 30%, the healing shall be increased by another 50%. So it just gives you more healing. Very useful. If you're using 2 teams with healers, oops, I didn't mean to go out. You can use that one in one healer group and Flashpoint in the other. Now for supports, I just randomly put in here Temporal Beetle because these are supports that can't heal. So that's like Anadora or someone like that. I don't know. I just threw Temporal and Beetle in here. Never used it, but as I'm looking through all of them, this is the only one I would see that would be that useful for someone who's like placing debuffs or something like that. When an allied support hero applies a debuff to an enemy, that debuff shall have a 30% chance to last for an additional 1.5 seconds. So I feel like that would be really strong if you were landing a stun or something like that. Otherwise, this could probably be applied to like decreased defense or decreased damage reduction, stuff like that as well. Okay. That's going to be it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Kind of a long video, but I had a lot to go through. Prototypes are very important in this game, and I've been asked so many times, Dan, do a prototype tier list. I hope this was helpful. I will update this over time as I see fit. If I think something changed, I will update it. So again, link will be in the description of all my videos. You can check, you know, for my most up-to-date stuff whenever you want. Okay, that's gonna be it for the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Hit the like and sub. Have a great day. See you guys. That's gonna be it for the video today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like and sub. Baby Lucas says, hey guys, hit that like and sub. Woo! All right, have a great day, everyone. See you guys.